Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Turf War, the ultimate showdown where 64 teams battle head-to-head for fantasy football glory. This is episode 42, and I'm your host, Lauren, and with me are Matt Ane and Corey Bassett. Matt, introduce yourself, please.
Hey guys, Matt Ane here of this show, I guess, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a good one. We're gonna talk some good waiver wire pickups, some good news, and everything else that's going on in this wonderful podcast. So, Corey,
What's up, everybody? Pushing buttons, lots to cover, so let's get to it.
All right, so now before we get started, Fantasy Turf War is something totally new, and we need your help. No one's ever done a 64-team league like this on YouTube before, so if you think that's interesting, please hit that subscribe button like an alarm clock on Monday morning and turn on the notification bell so you're always the first to know, just like your nosy neighbors. Your support is crucial to keeping the lights on, and it means the world to us. No joke, we're 25 people away from this next contest. We need to hit 100 because we want to give away multiple prizes. So the only way we can do that is if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. So we brought it up last week, but the grand prize is a Beckett certified autographed Christian McCaffrey helmet, which is oh so very exciting. And if I had the opportunity to win that, and I do, but I probably will let one of y'all do it, it's very exciting. So Corey, catch us up on what's been going on in the league.
Yeah. So first, I love writing in the script all those hit the subscribe button and notification bells because you don't know what I wrote until the show goes live. So it's like you just read off the teleprompter like Anchorman. But so we had a lot going on this week. We have a full week one breakdown from Fantasy Turf War, the league. That'll be released Thursday morning. It was pretty crazy. We just published our Division 3 Civics video, and that was how they determined their draft method. It's pretty funny to watch. The average score was like a 33 out of 60, so it was not good. But it was fun, and play along at home when you're watching and see what you score, and let us know in the comments how you did. See if you can beat some of them. I think the lowest score was a 19, so that should be pretty entertaining. But now that we're in regular season mode, we've got our Tuesday shows. The Thursday show will be league specific, and then hopefully we can get our Sunday morning show established this week as well. We also have more interviews coming this week. Now that I've finished editing that Civics video, which took a lot longer than I thought. So make sure you've got those subscribe. Oh, I forgot to hit my button. God damn it. All right, so hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications because there's going to be a whole lot more content coming this week and next week, and you don't want to miss it. All right, back to you, Lauren.
All right, so also, very exciting news. We've launched our first public product. So we have an ongoing offering exclusive to Season 1 participants only. Huge shout out to Susan over at Gridiron Goddess for helping us create our first t-shirt. If Corey, you would like to show it. Very exciting. Yay, look how cute it is. So you can pick up your very own t-shirt by clicking the link in the description below that we have tonight on the live. All right. So getting into tonight's episode, we're recapping week 1 and getting ready for week 2, covering major news around the league, including players to pick up. So let's make our way around the league with the news.
Sweet.
So starting... What?
I just said sweet. I just threw you off.
Oh,
go ahead.
Okay. I was like, oh.
attaboy.
Okay. So starting off with the first game last week was Thursday night. We had Kansas City versus the Baltimore Ravens. Kansas City pulled it out 27-20. I guess starting off, do y'all have any underlying thing to say about this game? Any plays you really appreciated? Any plays you hated?
Isaiah Likely should have wore white shoes. Thank you, Patrick Mahomes.
I was going to say in or out. What's the consensus there?
Well, it's definitely out. The black is definitely over the line.
Yeah. Anybody who thinks he was in is just flat out wrong.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the Mark Andrews being targeted thing, he just don't drop him. Don't be upset with him. Ultimately, he was double covered the whole game. So Isaiah Likely just got all the chip in little things. Everything was like 5 yards out, 7 yards out. Nothing real wonderful, but he's still a great ad. We'll be talking about him later in the show.
Yeah. And do you think it's a running trend, or one of the things that happens a lot in fantasy football, especially, is like week 1 will happen. You've done all your draft prep. Week 1 happens, and then everyone panics and just dumps everything that didn't work week 1. So do you think this is one of those?
Yeah, I mean, people are going to tilt and they're going to panic. And, this is the perfect, tomorrow is the perfect day to check everybody's trash, check the transaction list, and make sure that, nobody's dropped, somebody really good for, Isaiah Likely. I don't think that Mark Andrews' performance is indicative of what we saw. I think Chiefs just knew that that's the only thing that, Lamar Jackson likes to do. So they shut it down with, putting a steel trap across pretty much a chastity belt of catching a ball that game.
Kids, Google that. Yeah, I agree. I was rooting for the Ravens, but I still think they have a lot of promise this year. But any excuse I can find for the Chiefs and Taylor Swift to lose, I'm for it.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I agree. I think the same main point can be made about that game, that everybody just had an opinion about the Isaiah Likely touchdown, if it was in or if it was out. And then just my side of social media was so fun to just scroll all across. On Thursday night, it became normal again on Friday morning, but all that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce love all over social media.
vomit. And that mustache is corny. Just saying.
Yeah, and we just lost the rest of the viewership. There we go.
And they're all gone.
No, we mentioned Taylor Swift, so now I can put that as a hashtag, and we'll draw a bunch more people in. So
Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Okay. So I think we basically covered
yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
most of that. All right. So moving on to the next game, we had the Friday night game, which was the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Green Bay Packers. So the Eagles pulled it out 34-29. I'm sure Matt has some opinions on this game. I'm sure he's gonna spit all the love for Saquon Barkley here.
Yes.
Someone's.
I mean, I totally did not see this coming at all. I'm just saying.
I don't think anyone did.
I'm being sarcastic. I knew that he was going to run everywhere. I mean, it's the best offensive line he's ever had in his entire career, even down from Penn State. So, I mean, they just pretty much opened up the seas of that defensive line, like Moses opening up the Red Sea. It was just like, here, go, just enjoy, and then sprint. And it was just insane. Saquon Barkley's awesome. Might finish his RB1. The unfortunate stuff of that game was just at the last play of the game, of course, with Jordan Love. Lord have mercy. I hope he's okay, because my Jaden Reed pick is looking ugly.
They said what, 3 to 6 weeks?
It's actually week to week, so he might even be back next week. It just depends. So they never really released what the severity was. So he could be back. Better. Yeah. So I mean, he's definitely not playing this week. They said he could play this week, but essentially, he just wouldn't be 100%. So it's probably looking like more like next week. Gosh, I hope it's only 1 week, because Jaden Reed looked bonkers. He was like the new Deebo Samuel who stays healthy. It was awesome.
Yeah, it looked good. I mean, if you picked him up, if you picked up Jordan Love, then it's definitely a worrisome red flag that's now gone up in your season, because you've probably paid a high price for him. Probably shouldn't have, but you probably did. And now you're panicking week to week. So you're out this week, so you're already having to figure that out. So hopefully you drafted some depth, and hopefully he gets better soon. But I'd heard 3 to 6 weeks, so if it's week to week, at least it's better than that. And this was also this was the Brazil game, right? This is the first one out that way.
Yes.
So do you think that had anything to do with it? I think they're probably close to the same time zone, but obviously it's a long flight, so I don't know if that messes with anything.
I think it's an hour difference. I think they're an hour behind us, if I'm not mistaken, or ahead of us. But the thing that everybody kept complaining, like even the funniest tweet ever was from an angry Giant fan of, oh, look at Saquon Barkley. He already fell. He's going to suck. And then he got bombarded 15 minutes later. But it was them playing on a soccer pitch. The grass is different, so it's like half turf, half this, half that. It's a combination of things, and it definitely, took some time for everybody to adjust. Definitely caused some injuries. Could have caused his injury.
Yep. Yeah, I knew that came up. And Saquon, do you think he actually finishes number one then? Because he kind of had an expected but still explosive game. So, I mean, I had him in one of my leagues, so I'm sitting pretty. But do you think he actually rounds it out?
Yeah, I do. I think he definitely finishes RB1. The opportunities there.
Yeah.
That offensive line is absolutely bonkers, and obviously you'll miss a not a Travis Kelsey. Nobody will miss that man. A Jason Kelsey, but you know the line looks awesome, and he's just going to eat all day with that line.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're going to miss the other Kelsey brother on the line because I think he might have gotten himself out of a job on ESPN from what his commentary was. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
some
agree on that. And I'm sure
clips
you
about
saw like
that.
yeah, and I'm sure you saw the lost suitcase and his like outfit and all that, and it was like, what's
Yeah.
happening?
What? I did not
What's
see this.
happening, dude?
We'll
What happened?
we'll have to show you after the show, but
Oh, you didn't
yeah.
hear that? Yeah, he like supposed it's I mean it's like simple. He just like either forgot his suitcase or it got lost in transit or something and he had to go to the mall and he got like obviously when you're an NFL announcer you're wearing like a fitted button-up shirt and like a suit jacket as you would. He was wearing like the tightest Lululemon button-up you've ever seen in your life to the point it had like a gaping hole when he would like move his arms and
Oh
no
my
jacket.
god.
It was like, dude, what's happening?
Yeah. And he definitely commented on it on the air, so that's a thing.
He did. Yeah.
So,
Well, they commented about it, and he was like, "Thanks, guys." He's like, "Thanks
yeah.
so much."
Actually, I got an
But yeah,
update on Mr. Jordan Love. So it's a common professional athlete for optioning to return after 10 days after a medical collision of ligament sprain. Green Bay coach Matt LaFleur didn't close the door on Jordan Love being available for week 2 against Indianapolis
Hmm.
after he suffered against. So there's an opportunity. I just doubt he plays this week, but it's probably next week.
Yeah, especially early on in the season, you don't want to risk it getting worse and then you lose him for the rest of the season. That's a big risk. So I would expect he's out this week, but he might be back in the conversation for next week. So if you own him, still prepare like he might not play.
Mm-hmm.
Because unlike a lot of other players this week, or this past week, you have some notification in advance that he might not be playing. So
All
that's
right.
not
he's like, hint, hint, hint,
Cough,
hint.
cough, CMC.
CMC, Jamar
All right,
Chase.
Mhm.
all right. I think we're good to move on to
Yeah.
Yeah.
big ol' Sunday games. All right. So starting off with the Sunday games, we're gonna go with the Buffalo Bills and the Cardinals. The Bills won 34-28. This game really didn't shock me that much. I expected Josh Allen to just come out of the gate and do what he does normally, and he did what he does. I expected the Bills to win. This game really wasn't a surprise to me. I'm happy to see the Cardinals put up a fight, though. In a way, I was almost not assuming that they were going to be kind of like womp womp this year, but I'm glad that they're putting up a fight, especially in week 1, against a team that was in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. I mean, so like the Cardinals just don't have a defense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
all it is. But they do have an offense. I mean, the fact that Marvin Harrison
Mhm.
Jr. had .09.
Can we
Um,
pause there for a second? So yeah, so they don't have a defense, right? So the idea is that the Cardinals are going to be probably throwing the ball a lot, which is a good assessment to make. But what the hell is up with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. that they just hate each other or something? Or it's like they just refuse to acknowledge the other one exists. And it's like, hey, I'm open. Yeah, I don't care.
well,
So I don't
3
see it.
targets and only came down with 1. So
And
that's ugly.
how many attempts did Kyler Murray have?
He had a wonderful 31.
Yeah, so 3
So
out of 31. So something's
he didn't
wrong
do
there.
something right. Maybe
Like
a little rookie
Something's not
nerves.
clicking.
that, or like he took his parking spot, or like pissed in his Cheerios, something. But I was watching, like, that's probably the
Really
game I watched the most highlights of, and I was just like, why are they not connecting? Like, the talent's there, the like opportunities there. What the hell? And just not a happy camper with either of them. But anyways, off my soapbox.
But it's only week 1. It's okay.
It is. It's all going to change. I mean, there's a lot of options there that isn't for fantasy, like Greg Dortch. I don't think he's actually going to be relevant, but he had 8 targets. You look at Trey McBride, 9 targets, but 5 receptions for 30. It was just a weird game. But
Yeah.
Kyler Murray put up points. I mean, he rushed for 57 yards. He had a passing touchdown, had 162 yards passing. I mean, didn't throw an interception. Pretty good game.
Yeah,
Not
not
blowing
bad.
the socks off, but he got the job done for fantasy.
Yeah, especially him, having his first game back from an injury. This is the first game back, right? So this builds the confidence up a little bit. So I think that's a good sign going forward. But hopefully they fix that dynamic. Still not mad.
Yeah.
Not mad.
He's still upset about it. He'll be upset about it until it clicks.
All right, what's the next game
All
we
right.
got?
We've got the Chicago Bears and the Tennessee Titans. All right. How about them Bears? I'm never going to say that again.
Don't get used to
They
it. It's all
won.
right.
Never again. It didn't feel right. It felt icky. Anyway, the Bears won 24-17 against the Titans.
Yeah, I don't think the Bears won this
I
one
don't
as
wanna
much
say
as
the
the
phrase
Titans
again, so-
lost it.
Yeah.
I think who was it in the post game that it said we might as well have just give the ball away and let our defense go back out there because it's like our offense just screwed us over every time. So yeah, I think the Titans lost this one. I don't know necessarily the Bears won it. Obviously, credit where credit's due. They did win the game, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. That was such an ugly game. Caleb Williams came out and choked a big one. DeAndre Swift could not do anything. And all 93 yards were distributed to nobody. But now they only have one receiver. Keenan Allen came up with a heel injury. Dunze has an MCL issue. So now it's just DJ Moore. So now I would take it, right? Give all 93 yards to DJ Moore. This is going to be a good time.
Yeah,
And
now
then
he's
maybe they get a
viable.
touchdown. And yeah, exactly. And then that's a 16-point game. This is good.
Yeah.
Way to go, DJ Moore. You win this game.
Until you remember that it's the Bears and any home game in the middle of winter, they're not going to be very effective at the pass game. Like the Bears always have that problem. And then this is back to being the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
On the Titan side of the ball, it was just as ugly. Will Levis just looked ugly. Tony Pollard was the bright spot. 82 yards for 16 carries and a touchdown. Calvin Ridley really didn't show up too much. Had 7 targets, but 3 for 50. But Will Levis couldn't throw the ball. He looked a tad bit better than my fat butt out there on the field, but not much.
Debatable. I feel like it's close enough. We should see this.
That's fine. Give me a Titans jersey. I'll go out there and rock it. I will definitely do better than Daniel Jones. So and then I mean DeAndre Hopkins was coming off the injury, only had the 1 target, didn't really play too many snaps, but overall I feel like they're just a team that's building new coach, new everything. Well, not new coach, but new scheme. It's just a new team, new stuff. I just want to see what they're going to do in like week 3. These first 2 weeks are going to be a little bit more down for me, in my opinion.
Lauren, did you watch this game at all?
To be honest with you, no. I didn't see this game. I really don't have a dog in the fight in either of these teams. Granted, I did go to school in Tennessee, but I was never a Titans fan. I think, I don't know, in my opinion, I've kind of like watched the Titans from afar in the way that I've kind of watched the Falcons from afar since 2017. Don't say it, Matt. And just watching them from, I guess, like 2019 when I lived in Tennessee to up until now, they've had moments where they've been promising, and then they've had moments where they've been not so promising. And I think they're really trying to find the pieces. And I like you said, I think that we're not going to see them being explosive in week 1, obviously, maybe not even week 2, but I'm hoping that they get something together and figure something out because they do have pieces. It's just how can you play those pieces effectively?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The Bears.
All right. Are we good with the Titans?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to what looks basically like a college football score. The Saints won 47-10 against the Carolina Panthers. I did watch this game.
I don't know why. It wasn't
And
entertaining at all.
At
because
all.
because here's my thing. Since I've been paying attention to football, I have almost in a way wanted the Carolina Panthers, and this may drag the knife a little bit. Have been awful my entire life, basically. I fear, when I've been paying attention at least. And I truthfully believed that Bryce Young was just going to be this, like, I don't even know, golden ticket that got them somewhere. And then watching the play, and it plays again in my head, and I've watched it over and over again to the point that I have it saved on an app because it's so funny to me, of him literally like running, and then he tripped over himself, and then his own lineman like bopped him on the ground, and then he was like, oh no. It's like, so I think, I don't know, I think a lot of things need to be figured out for the Panthers. Didn't happen in week one, obviously by the score. But hopefully they don't have another year that they had last year.
I don't know. It didn't look good. Two things
really
made me
didn't.
laugh out loud, like actually laugh out loud, and it was the Panthers getting their ass kicked, and Notre Dame paying Northwestern Illinois $1.4 million to get beat at home against Notre Dame. So, yeah, this was not a fun game to watch. From being from Raleigh, Durham area, it was embarrassing. Is probably the best word.
Yeah. You could
Although
have Daniel Jones as the quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. The tickets will probably be cheaper towards the end of this year, so it could be good to watch some games, come December. But
Fantasy Turf War box at the Panthers Stadium coming soon.
dude, tickets got down to like $20 last year, so like they couldn't. And there's pictures, like, go. I'll put a comment in the notes, but there's pictures of like Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium, like damn near empty. So it was bad. They're not filling seats.
And when you put Bryce Young out there, who's like the worst quarterback in the league, I think at this point, it's rough. He can't get the job done. The fact that we saw Andy Dalton still out there, I forgot he was even in the league. Is ugly. You couldn't even get the running game going. Chuba Hubbard had a great season last year. Couldn't get it going this year. The fact that Miles Sanders still was even relevant with splitting carries. That game was just ugly. On the Saints side of the ball, just as ugly. I mean, Derek Carr had a decent game with 200 yards and 3 passing touchdowns, but didn't really have to do much. It was the Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams show pretty much. And, the ball went to everybody you would think if you looked at waiver wires and threw a dart for the Saints players. Because it didn't go to the players you wanted it to, except for Alvin Kamara. It went to, Rashid, Shaheed, and Foster I can't even say his Monroe. But yeah, that was great. And Jawan Johnson, not Mr. Chris Olave with two attempts. I mean, 2 targets. A guy you spent like a top 12 wide receiver on. Like, what are you doing? It's not even sending the car. It's, okay, prepare the car for the car crash. It was just like, what?
I think those numbers for Olave will get better. I don't see Derek Carr's numbers being sustainable, and I think this is more about the Panthers not being up to par versus the Saints stepping up to it. And the problem with to like get behind Carolina is like you had Cam Newton as like the hero of the town, and then you had CMC, and and like they're all gone. So like there's no reason. It sounds horrible, but like there's no one to stand behind and root for anymore, to like buy the jersey, sit in the seat. Like I still have a McCaffrey jersey because he's a fantasy god, but I'm not buying anyone else's jersey until I have a reason to. So that sucks.
Fair enough. I mean, nobody's gonna touch that. Oh man. All right. Lauren.
Before we move on to the next one, I just want to say we have a good amount of questions in the chat. We see you, and we're going to answer when we get to after the Monday night game, so we can talk and kind of recap. We can recap all of them, and then we'll get to your questions.
Yeah,
All right.
and let
So
me. Sorry, I meant to hop
yeah,
in
go for
too.
it.
Was one thing that we'll be able to do once we get more subscribers and such. Let me just excuse my button. We'll be able to do the super chats too. So if you have pressing questions, we'll be able to pull those up first, and you'll get your questions answered. But we gotta build up the followership before we get to that point. But that is something we'll be able to do. So I know, especially coming up to waiver wires, it's like a big question. Everyone's like, do I pick this guy? Do I make the trade? So it's important stuff.
All right.
Fair enough.
Okay. Next one, we have the Houston Texans beat the Indianapolis Colts 29-27. I know Corey has something to talk about with his favorite play here. It was done in this game. Really good game. I just think the better team won here. That's really all I have to say about that.
Fine, just disagree then. No, I this was a good game to watch. I watched this one after the fact on replay, but it was entertaining to watch. It was close. I feel like I'm getting pretty good on my Tony Richardson estimates here because that was a pretty good game to watch him bounce around, and he had a really good play where he chucked the ball into the end zone. Good moves to make, good player to watch. Overall, it was a very enjoying. Is that a word? I don't know. Enjoyable. It was a good game. It was a really good game.
I mean, I guess it was exciting to see Anthony Richardson just like clobber people. Literally, like I felt like I was watching Madden and him just like not even just like tapping the truck button. It was like
The
good
hit
chow,
stick.
like Cobra Kai. Like it was like okay, cool. Like you're done. That was good. And watching Anthony Richardson's cannon of an arm. Like I swear to God, like I feel like he had like one of those shirt cannons, and
Yeah.
the ball just went down down the field. It was incredible. But he is the most inaccurate quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, but it's entertaining, right? Because it's builds suspense. You don't know if it's gonna. What's the line from The Office? Sometimes you start a sentence. It's like sometimes you start an offensive play and you chuck the ball and you don't know where it's gonna end up.
Yeah, it's never
Yeah.
a good formula, but sure. On the other side of the ball with Houston, I mean, C.J. Stroud just proved that he's C.J. Stroud, and I think he's legit. Joe Mixon's a tank, 30 carries, a beast. And then it's interesting. Stephon Diggs, 6 receptions for 6 targets, but 33 yards and 5.5. We call it was his longest catch essentially. Um, I will answer the first question up on here since it is Diggs. I would slam that trade if you were trading away those two of McLaurin and Diggs for Devontae Adams. Diggs is going to get all short yards, which you saw. He managed to just come home with 2 touchdowns. I don't think he's going to be the one that has a true ceiling play. And come the end zone, as Tank Dell and Collins really keep going, it's just going to be them, and either it's going to be a Dell game or a Diggs game, and I'd rather just have the number one receiver of Devontae Adams. But yeah.
Yeah.
Corey,
I like
you have
it.
anything?
It was a fun one to
you're
watch.
right. All right. Moving on to a not so exciting game that I thought was going to be more exciting. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Cleveland Browns 33-17. Again, I thought this game was going to be more exciting. The Dallas Cowboys really just bullied the Browns for 4 quarters.
Yeah. The Browns suck. Deshaun Watson is creepy. Another charge coming his way. I don't know if you guys saw that. So my guy's going to be out of a job very soon. Amari Cooper, I feel bad for you. Jerome Ford looked spectacular. And yeah, that's really it on that side. And, wow, Zeke's alive. And that's pretty much what I got out of that game.
Oh, he's back. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wrote down, I think we included Ezekiel in the waiver wire discussion.
Yes.
That I think, I don't know. I think it's kind of like when we were talking about Stephon Diggs. I don't know if it was last week before that. It might have been last week. I think it was last week. And just talking about how some people draft people for like name likeness and that sort. And my in one of my leagues this year, I accidentally walked away from my computer when it was my time to draft, and my computer chose Ezekiel Elliott for me. So,
Ouch.
Great choice.
yeah. It was like one of my last picks, so that's really good. He's already off the team. It's okay. But
What?
because I've been burned by him so many times in the past, as I feel people have been, in the sense that like he was so good and you could never get him unless you were that first pick, until he wasn't so good, and then it's like, I don't know. But
Starting
hey,
running back
he
on
got a
my
touchdown.
team.
He got a touchdown, and maybe Zeke's back. I don't know. Maybe Zeke's.
I wouldn't go that far,
rising from
but
it.
enough for
No, I
fantasy.
wouldn't. That was a joke.
All right, you want to hit that next one?
Yeah. All right. So we have the next one is Tampa Bay beat the Washington Commanders 37-20, and Baker Mayfield literally obliterated the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
Just a whole lot of smacking, because it was just not. It was just not. I don't feel like it was a fair game to even watch.
You mean spanking didn't come to mind? It was just a whole lot of smacking. Maybe just a little bit extra. Gave it a quick slap across the face. That's what it was.
Just Baker was just
Be appropriate. It's a family-friendly show. Anyway, you. All right. This was an ugly game. On the Commander side, Buccaneers actually look fantastic. I love Baker. He's going to be on the show later. 4 touchdowns, 289 yards. Gosh, he looks good. Rashad White looked all right. Bucky Irving looks fantastic. Was able to create, through 9 carries, 62 yards. Let's go. Chris Godwin looks like he's had a resurgence. Rashad White on the reception side, fantastic. And Mike Evans looked great with 2 touchdowns and 61 yards. Can't beat that. Jaden Daniels is absolutely awesome. In terms of he can run the ball, he should just be a running back. But that line also looked like the seas parted, but in the other way. So the exact opposite effect of the Eagles. He just kept getting crammed, but at least he can run really, really, really fast. And it doesn't even look like he's sprinting half the time. It looks like I'm going for a jog.
He's just happy.
But he's just like, I'm here. I'm playing football. But he ran for like 88 yards and 16 carries. Like, let's go. Had 184 passing yards, but no touchdowns. No passing touchdowns, but 2 rushing touchdowns. Looked awesome. Literally, I think he's going to be horrible for the running backs on this team. But at least Austin Eckler gets all the dump-off passes, so he's still going to be fantasy relevant. But yeah, the Scary Terry's looking real scary, but I think that'll be corrected next week. The Giants suck so bad right now. They're going to be able to pass all over them.
Oh, you talking poo-poo on your own team, Matt?
Yeah, buddy. Number 1 pick.
I think
Here we go.
I think someone did ask a question about Scary Terry. If you want to,
I think they did. Let me see if I can pull it up.
It was the the third to the bottom.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. Sorry, I was doing some back end stuff here. Scary.
That's why you're called the guy pushing buttons.
Yep. Helps if I hit publish. Here we go. So I have Scary Terry and Amari Cooper right now because Puka died. That's kind of true. Do I waiver for Robinson or stick with these 2?
So, I mean, Amari Cooper should be fine no matter who's throwing him the ball. He's an elite wide receiver. And plus, Deshaun Watson is not being put on the commissioner's list. I guess they're going to wait for it to play out like how the NFL does. The last comment's funny. Anyway, just threw me for a loop. Wrong timing. One. Yeah, it's on TV. Anyway, so my train of thought. I'd rather have those 2 than picking up somebody else. I mean, obviously, if you can move Puka to the IL, if like you could put an out player on IL, then yes, I would add Johnson. But I am not dropping either of these players because they still have upside. So I'm just going to hang on and ride it out for at least another week, and then we can kind of reassess. Come back and ask me another question next Tuesday.
Yeah, I almost have the same kind of, like, out of principle, I drafted a guy, I give him the first 2 weeks before I drop him, just because you don't know.
Yeah. Like, there's always those guys at the end of the bench, but those guys are just a little bit more on the draft stock of like if you drop them, somebody will pick them up. So like, uh, yeah, I think that's just a mistake because of the draft cost and investment.
Yeah, agreed. Like you draft them for a reason, stick with it for another week, and then make a decision. Then you have an extra data point all the way around. So
Yeah, or try and sell them. Like, there's always that point too where, you know what, you can kind of blame, especially Scary Terry is on the rookie play, right? You can easily go and turn around and be like, okay, he has a good game, wait a couple weeks, and then sell high and be like, oh, they're figuring it out. You don't want to just let that person hit the waiver wires. You could always sell them for more than what they're worth.
yeah.
All right.
All right. What's the next game we got on there?
The next game is arguably, I think, the most disappointing game of this whole weekend. The Patriots beat the Bengals 16-10. I don't even think the Bengals showed up. I think it was like the practice squad and they were just there. Like I don't know what even happened because there was so much talk in the preseason about the Bengals just being like not like the number one team, but being very comparable to other playoff teams last year, and this did not show that to me, especially playing the Patriots.
Yeah, and this one goes to the whole Jamar Chase thing in that fantasy owners really got screwed. So they, Jamar Chase, we talked about him last week and him being a contract holdout. And then there was, whether or not he's going to sign a contract. And I guess I'd made an assumption myself, too, of like, if he doesn't sign a contract, he's not going to play. And then the report came out from Adam Schefter that he may be able to play without a full contracts being signed, and so you're like, well, that doesn't help because now he can go like right up to game time without you having that decision made. And then he ended up playing and being on a pitch count, and so like, the game is what it is. I mean, the Patriots beating the Bengals is, I mean, if you said this like 5 years ago, it wouldn't have been an upset, but this week it's an upset. But yeah, I think more so fantasy wise, it's more of an implication of like Jamar Chase and doing the whole contract holdout thing we talked about. Like, this is the wrong way to do it.
Agreed.
Sorry, I needed a second to laugh.
Oh,
Okay.
Matt.
I had to Google it because I'm old. But anyway, great take. You want to move on to the next game?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. All right. So the next,
Give him a minute there.
there goes Matt. All right. So the next game we have, so I'm getting like a stitch in my side from laughing. All right. It's the
What is a
Minnesota
stitch?
Vikings. So Minnesota
I
Vikings
thought I was old.
beat.
All right, he's good now.
Okay. The Minnesota Vikings beat the Giants 28-6. No hate, no shade to Matt here.
I mean, did this shock anybody? Like, this
No.
didn't surprise me at all. And then the whole pick six, like, look, Daniel Jones.
Best stat of the week. Go ahead. Give it.
Daniel
Give it.
Jones, not good. I'd rather pick up an injured Jordan Love at this point and hope that something comes out of it than play with Daniel Jones. So I just look, it was not good. I don't know. I have no faith in the New York Football Giants at this point, and it's kind of the same thing before. Like there's no reason to change my mind until they say or do something otherwise, which is unfortunate, right? Like you want all the games to be close, but I don't see it.
Oh, it's going to be ugly. Best stat of the year. Daniel Jones has thrown more touchdowns this season since signing his $40 million year contract to the other team than his own teammates.
That is a stat right there. Wow.
Yeah, buddy. That's why if you watch
Wow.
Hard Knocks, they were trying so hard to go and get Jaden Daniels because he sucks. Malik Neighbors looked okay. Wan'Dale Robinson with 12 targets. That was the only bright side. And hey, when you can make Sam Darnold look competent, you know you're doing something wrong.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say it, but all right.
Low blows are flying everywhere.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, look, I wouldn't have said Sam Darnold was a top 30 one quarterback, and then you play against Daniel Jones, and you're like, all right, well, maybe.
Yeah. I understand why they signed him. I hate every second of it.
Yeah, I mean, of the upside, if there is some sort of silver lining, Wandale getting the 12 targets is a good indicator for the season. So if you did pick him up, I don't think you're feeling bad about it. You just hope the production shows up with it. So
And the health. He is one play away from receiving a special pair of crutches. That's his MO too. Yeah.
yeah. All right, what's the next game we got there,
Okay.
Lauren?
We have Seattle Seahawks beat the Denver Broncos 27-24.
All right, wait. Before we do anything on this, does anybody actually know who's on this team or like either of these teams? Because I almost forgot that they played this week because I just didn't care.
I do, and it was ugly.
Yeah. Do you
Kenneth
have anybody?
Walker looked.
Okay, yeah.
You have Kenneth Walker, who also got hurt, so Zach Charbonnet is now relevant. DK Metcalf did absolutely nothing. I want to pull up the stat line. Here we go. This is bad. So I'm not going to even talk about Broncos because you can only name about 2 players on that team. Geno Smith had a bad game, 171 yards to 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Charbonnet, I say he's relevant, but 8 carries for 12 rushing yards. Great job.
And I'll pause there too because you didn't know, no one knew how to properly pronounce his last name until this week. So that tells you everything.
Oh, geez. I've known. I feel good about that because I have a first grade reading level, so that makes me feel better. And then, the name we cannot pronounce is Jackson Smith Ninjigbaba. Thank you. Only had about two receptions for 19 yards. So, oh well, that game sucked. And then on the Broncos side of the ball, Bo Nix, 2 interceptions, still had a better stat line than Daniel Jones. So, good base.
Give Bo Nix time though. He looked really good in the preseason, so maybe this was an offshoot. Again, kind of give yourself a 2-week rule of if you did draft him, whether it's for depth or otherwise, well, maybe in the deeper leagues you picked him up kind of thing. Like, still give it some time. He does have the talent, and he did have a good preseason. This did not look characteristic of that though.
Fair. And Javonte Williams looks like he still doesn't have a knee, so I think his career's over. I'm really hoping that Sean Payton's career's over.
I thought it was, and then I saw him on the sidelines, so I was like, oh, he's still around.
Yeah. Oh, that guy's alive? Wow. Oh.
I thought the movie, the Paul, what's the Paul Blart guy, Kevin James? I thought that movie would have been the end of that, but it wasn't. I actually I think he was a better. He was better at being a coach than Peyton was.
Yeah, he was just thinking about hot dogs the whole time. All right, next one before I get myself a defamation suit or something.
All right, so the next one is my favorite game that happened this past weekend. The Los Angeles Chargers beat the Las Vegas Raiders. That had nothing to do with Corey, by the way.
Yeah, all right, sure.
Los Angeles Chargers beat the Raiders 22-10. I say this because 2 of my UGA players went head-to-head in this game. So I just had a lot of fun watching them play, especially Ladd scoring in his first NFL game. Took a lot of pride and happiness in that, even though I have no relation to him whatsoever, aside from going to the same university. But and then Brock Bowers did not exceptional, but definitely showing some potential there, and I'm excited for the rest of his season. What are y'all thinking?
I enjoyed the fight, the bench clearing fight that they had. That was great.
Yeah.
Typical Raiders.
Yeah, didn't take them more than a couple weeks. Just get right in there, start fighting each other, especially against the Chargers. There's no rivalry at all. Yeah, I mean, the offense is making tons of mistakes, which is going to happen when you don't name a quarterback as your starter until the end of preseason, because you're in competition. Like, you're going to have miscommunications. You're going to have bad routes, bad reads. Like, you're going to have all of that if you can't nail down who your starters are before, and that's probably where most of those problems come in. And then the defense, they allowed 135 yards on J.K. Dobbins, and
Yeah.
like you're gonna have a bad day anytime you allow over 100 rushing yards against you. So
Yeah. That game sucked. Alexander Madison was a bright spot, though. The reception game, he seems to be a third down back. I'm about that stuff. My guy had, 4 receptions for 43 yards and a touchdown. I like the Brock Bowers, like you said. 6 receptions, 8 targets. That's fantastic. And I love the fact that Gardner Minshew is a gunslinger. It's exactly what Michael Pittman is missing and why he's going to suck for fantasy this year. So at least you're going to have a gunslinger. There's going to be a lot of fantasy options on this team between Devontae Adams and him. So, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a lot better than the Jimmy Garoppolo experience. So, maybe not on the scoreboard or for, your heart, Corey. But, yeah. And then on the Chargers side of the ball, Justin Herbert, you're just such a disappointment. J.K. Dobbins, welcome to the two-leg crew. And Gus Edwards, you lost your job, even though you split. Yeah, that's really it.
fair enough.
All right. Moving on to a disappointment of a game. But hey, Corey got the score wrong. So on here, the Atlanta Falcons won 23-21 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But actually, no, that game resulted in the Pittsburgh Steelers winning 18-10. The Falcons.
You know who got that wrong?
Just...
ChatGPT.
Oh, no way. Hey, I appreciate that, ChatGPT. Thank you so much for looking out for us, Atlanta Falcons here.
Here, let me fix the score in the notes there.
Every year.
It's going to keep sucking.
Thanks. That's actually technically wrong, too, because it was the other way around. But that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's only 18-10, by the way.
Yeah, it was 18-10. The Falcons... I said this with disappointment. The Falcons play like the way that they play most of the time. I think there's still some fine-tuning to work out with Kirk Cousins and the rest of the offense. He threw 2 interceptions. It's just not the best week 1 that I think a lot of Falcons fans were expecting with all the hype off of Cousins coming to Atlanta. That was, it was just disappointing.
Did you expect anything else from Kirk Cousins?
I mean, it's like yes and no. You can always have hope for a situation and hope for a person. And I think him coming from the Vikings to Atlanta, I don't know if it was just one of those things where it's like, I don't know, I'm comparing this to like baseball in a way. Sorry, baseball reference here. When Freddie Freeman left Atlanta and everyone was like, oh my God, he's leaving us and he's going to be so bad and, wherever he is and whatnot. And it's kind of, I guess, and he obviously isn't, and comparable to this, it's kind of like, he wasn't awful, like dead last awful at the Vikings, but he obviously, there was some struggle there last year with the Achilles and Dobbs and yada yada. No, I think everyone goes into their week 1 thinking we're gonna be so good this year, and then that happens. So,
I mean, as a team, the defense actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
My biggest issue was Kirk Cousins. He wasn't planting his throwing foot on it. So, like that kind of gives me question as to what's going on with him with health wise. Is he actually ready to go? Hopefully that improves because then he might not make as much mistakes like balls were coming in behind players, things like that. Just wasn't, clean. So hopefully that gets better. I mean, he did me a good job and got Kyle Pitts a touchdown this week. So thank you. But even Bijan wasn't able to really perform because of game scheme. And plus they also played the best defense in the league, in my opinion, right now. Pittsburgh Steelers just look like they're going to eat and eat and eat and then come up behind you and scare your children. But yes, but then you look at their offense and then it's like, okay, cool, we're at the circus. So it's a joke of a team on that side of the ball. I do think fantasy assets. That's not just.
I do think the Steelers did a good job of pivoting from having lost Russell Wilson kind of short notice and then switching over to Fields. So that was a good pivot from them. I think they'll get better as the weeks go on, and like I said, they've got a pretty solid defense.
Mm-hmm.
I have no hope for the
They don't
Falcons.
need to score much.
Okay, Corey. Jesus. All right. So we're getting to our second to last game here. We have the Detroit Lions beat the Los Angeles Rams 31-28.
In
This
overtime.
this one was definitely a game to watch.
Yeah, this was a good one.
That was rushing galore from David Montgomery. He was so good.
I did see. Did you guys see the clips of the jerseys, like disappearing into the end zone because of the same color?
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, oh, that makes I guess that makes sense now because shit. Remind me who the quarterback is in the Rams. Herbert?
That would be
Matthew
Matthew
Stafford.
Stafford.
Stafford. There you go. So he threw the ball and the defender just kind of pops out of nowhere and realized that his jersey was camouflaged in the end zone. And then you just look at his face, you're like, oh shit.
I
Yeah.
didn't see that. I need to go look that up.
Yeah, it was like Arnold or coming out of the woods with just painted. She has no idea what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
Lauren has no idea what reference that is.
No clue. No clue. I was gonna let you laugh and then move on.
I
She's
am
looking
so
it up.
old.
She's looking it up. Who is Arnold?
But yeah. I mean, the game was good. Jameson Williams, bright spot. Don't think it's sustainable. I know everybody's going nuts over him in the fantasy community. But yeah, the 9 targets were great. But, I mean, when you're coming down, when you're averaging 24.2 yards a reception, yeah, buddy. No, thank you. I don't think that this is sustainable. He's going to be like Deshaun Jackson in his prime. He's going to go off and get a 70-yard or 80-yarder touchdown, and then that's a couple catches here and there, and that's your week. And it's great, but it's bust. So I'm all about it, but at the same time, it's very, very inconsistent, and you just got to play it right.
Yeah, I think Lions are a good team this year. They'll be definitely one to watch.
For sure.
I agree. All right, moving on to our last game of week 1. We have Monday Night Football, and it was San Francisco 49ers beat the New York Jets 32-19 without Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's probably a good place to start, right? And it has triggered an official NFL investigation because what's his
Jordan
name?
Mason.
Jordan Mason was informed that he would be starting on Friday, and that should have been disclosed to the public with the injury reports, and it was not. We were waiting until game time for Christian McCaffrey, and so there is an actual investigation. One, probably not the best idea to say that in an interview after the game that you thought you were starting on Friday. That's bad luck for your team. But at the same time, it's if they knew, it's royally pissing off all the fantasy owners of Christian McCaffrey who are having to make those decisions. Again, we also did tell you need to draft his backup because he's Christian McCaffrey regardless. In that case, you wouldn't be worried so much. But yeah, that's it's frustrating when the information should be known and is being withheld, whether it's on purpose or accident or whatever. But there are implications if that's true.
I mean, I don't see an advantage. It's really funny. It's like the same thing of, oh, we don't know who our starting quarterback is. We have an advantage. I don't care. It's the same thing. Like, you're going to run the ball. I mean, if it's worse, he's not playing cool. Jets still suck with the rushing defense, so it didn't matter. But, yeah, I don't see what a big deal it is other than screwed over a whole bunch of fantasy owners. But
so it does have implications. So Belichick was notorious for this back with the Patriots, is that they would hold on to the injury report as long as possible, and that's why they made some of the changes for questionable, doubtful, and game ready. So it is a thing if you're scheming for specific running backs or specific receivers or quarterbacks or anything like that. There are different ways to play them, and if you're not prepared or if you're preparing for the wrong guy, then you're gaining an advantage, or your opponent is gaining an advantage. You know what I'm trying to say. You're basically messing over the other team if they're not allowing them to prepare properly because you're skirting / breaking the rules.
Fair enough. Yeah. And on the other side of the ball, you know, Aaron Rodgers didn't blow out his Achilles. Um, when
Woo!
when the offense was like actually when he was actually making moves and calling audibles and identifying coverage, the offense looked fantastic. It actually looked like retro, you know, Aaron Rodgers, which was fantastic. They had a great first drive and they scored, and then it was over.
Yeah.
San Francisco made all the right adjustments. But again, there was bright spots. You're talking about one of the better defenses in the league, so you know it is what it is. There'll be better days for the next couple games. It's going to be up and down with that ride, but I think that they're going to figure it out as long as Aaron Rodgers doesn't run off and do ayahuasca on Tuesdays. um, so, but yeah, I mean the team looks good. Brees Hall is Brees Hall. He's a stud. All about him. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, it was kind of nice to see Aaron Rodgers return to form a little bit. I mean, granted, anything from last season is an improvement, but it did look like he's kind of still there, and let's see what he does in the next couple weeks. But they didn't stand much of a chance this game, but I think the one touchdown pass he did had was worthy. It was good.
Oh yeah.
Lauren, did you
All
watch
right.
this game?
Parts of it. I didn't watch till the end because I assumed that the outcome was going to be what the outcome was. But I did see the touchdown pass by Aaron Rodgers. So I agree. I've been an Aaron Rodgers fan for a long time before I even knew what football really was. So thanks to my mom. So I've kind of like known who he was and followed his career for a while, and just seeing what happened last year. Obviously, it's heartbreaking for anybody to go through that, but just seeing a quarterback that is so respected in the NFL go through something like that and then be able to come back and play fully through week one is awesome. And hopefully, yeah, he can take his what did you say, ashwagandha, all that at a certain time.
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca,
Ashwagandha.
yeah, whatever. I don't know. There's
What is this, Black Panther?
That's not even like a millennial
it's a
thing.
supplement. I just don't know. I don't know. They also have the same.
It is totally a Gen Z thing too right now.
It is.
Know
It's a Gen Z thing. It is. I'm so sorry for sure. Now I'm saying I'm young for showing my age. I don't even know what ashwagandha is, to be honest with you. But
that's not.
It's not even it. It's ayahuasca.
I know.
Oh
I know. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Jeez.
I'm embarrassed.
Lauren's 23. She's never had a drink before either.
Yeah, probably. So one question though
right.
On the Niners side of the ball is Xavier Worthy is probably a good segue because I think we've covered the rest of the game. So is anything on him in terms of, do you think his night is sustainable? Do you think he's a worth pickup? Anything there?
On the Niners side of the ball for Xavier Worthy?
He's on the Chiefs.
Oh, my bad. Wow, it's been a long day.
Same color.
Yeah.
Same color. So
same color.
So I think right now,
I mean,
obviously, yes, it's definitely possible. Let's see how much trust he builds up with Mahomes. But the thing is, too, when Hollywood Brown comes back, they already talked about him having a role. So, we'll see how much of a role is carved out. Who's the one that's going to, take the hit in terms of production? I don't think it's going to be Rashid Rice at the end of the day. So it's probably going to be Worthy. But it'll be nice to see, what and how they play it, because I mean, literally, this kid is a slant away from a touchdown. So honestly, I think he was completely underrated and overlooked through the whole draft process.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, he was the Chiefs' first round draft pick this year. Awesome name, by the way, completely aside the point, but awesome athlete name. And I think just based on like week one and watching him, the fact that his first NFL touch resulted in a 21-yard touchdown was awesome. I think he has a bright future in front of him if he can just stay away from what Chiefs offensive players seem to get themselves into in the offseason. Other than that, yeah, I think he has a really bright future, and I'm excited to see him. I kind of, in a way, hope he's as explosive as it's blanking for me. Kareem Hunt was for them when he was. I don't know if the Chiefs necessarily need that because they're already that team, but yeah, I'm excited to see what Xavier Worthy can do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long day.
I don't even know what team he was on.
Yeah, right. No, I bring that up. So we forgot one of the bigger newsworthy games this week. The Jaguars and the Dolphins. I mean,
Oh.
probably more of a story
Oh.
before the game than during or after the game. But yeah, so Dolphins beat the Jaguars 2017. Big story there is, of course, Tyreek Hill was detained by police, presumably for speeding before the stadium. It was a moving violation. Apologize. But yeah, so the footage is out, and I don't know if we need to comment. Did you guys watch the police body cam video of that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's an absolute idiot.
yeah, I think all around it's just a shitty scenario, and not to dive too much into that part of the topic, but like maybe don't do bad things, but also don't people shouldn't react to things in bad ways. All around, just stop it. But it did result in a great game for Tyreek Hill in putting up, what was it, an 86-yard touchdown with probably the best celebration dance I've seen in a while, where someone pretended to arrest him.
No, you didn't see it. Oh my god, Matt, you need to look it up after this. He literally like ran into the end zone like so like flouncy, and then like put his hands behind his back and was like, "Get me, get me."
I'm dead. See, and
You
that
need
is
to
why
go
it's
back and like
comical.
Google it. It's
Oh.
so good.
The trolling is amazing.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, it's if nothing else, it was good meme quality afterwards, and he put up a lot of points. So it's probably, honestly, it's probably like the most impactful news out of that game.
Yeah,
For sure.
He
yeah,
was
'cause I
only
think-
detained and won't miss any time or anything like that.
Yeah, I think because the day of, I texted y'all and I was like, guys, Tyreek Hill's not playing, and you're like, no, he is. Don't worry. I was like, okay, cool.
I was so disappointed because I wanted Jalen Waddle to get every target.
Yeah, he's injured now, isn't he?
Nice fun.
Oh, I thought he went out with an injury.
And he came back. It's his MO.
Oh, okay.
That guy needs a little like a shit teen in the middle of the game. So he just runs off and then comes back.
It's also a thing where how do I word this without getting blocked or banned on YouTube? So it's interesting that something happens to a player, and it's not a question of his health, wellness, or safety. It's, is he going to play? And I like how the official comment or the official notification from the team comes out, and they're like, Tyreek Hill will be playing today. It's like, oh, okay. Is he all right, though?
Yes,
or
my fantasy team.
They're like, is he all right?
Nobody cares.
Or is he got to go to jail afterwards?
No one cares. Literally no one. It's just, or like, have you seen people that will send messages to any of these athletes, any of these offensive athletes on Instagram, X, any of it, and we'll just send them DMs and be like, I need you to score 30 points this week. I'm expecting nothing less. And I'm like, I can't believe, or like, imagine being one of those, like, imagine being, dude, I don't even know, like, even like Justin Fields, anyone, and just your DMs are blown up by all these people that do not give a crap if you're injured. Just please throw 4 touchdown passes. That's all I need you to do.
Yeah. And like, if you watch we're just gonna dive into this, I guess. But if you watch the body cam video, like, there's so many other like current players or former players that are like interacting with Tyreek Hill during this altercation with the police, and it's like, just let them do the process thing that they gotta do. Like, maybe just don't intervene. It doesn't help when more people get involved.
Yeah, I saw him say something within the body cam footage. I read like the quotes. I didn't watch the entire video of him being. I think he said something of like, "Man, just give me my ticket and like let me go" or something like that. And he was like, "No, I have to handcuff you."
Yeah, I'm
It's like,
curious
no,
like what the
fine, let me go.
actual violation was. Like, were he not signal or something? Like, because if
He
he
did
was
a
like,
buck 9,
he did what?
109.
Really?
Is that real?
Yeah, something like that. He was speeding like crazy.
I've been trying to find the actual amount because all it says is like traffic violation. when I
Yes.
Google
Yeah, he
it.
was
Well, it said a
speeding.
moving violation, which doesn't sound like speeding to me. But
109.
Well, moving violation is also qualified as reckless driving.
oh,
Okay.
well,
So reckless driving is anything over 90 or 20 or 30 miles over the speed limit.
well, I've only gotten one speeding ticket in my life, so I'm not very well versed here.
Sorry.
I was going 45 and no, I was going 45 and a 40, and I went to court and it stuck. And I was like, I was going 5 over. And I was like, whatever. Anyways, um, 2 motorcycle officers were parked on an access road south of the stadium when Hill sped past in his McLaren. They immediately went in pursuit. They said he was going 60 miles an hour.
Okay.
They later said he was going 60 miles an hour. Okay.
So I doubled it, ish. But
Ish.
I'm sure it was a 25 mile per hour speed limit.
Oh, I'm
So
sure.
warranted.
If not less, it's probably like a 15.
Yeah, you're right outside the stadium.
Yeah, he was given citations for careless driving and failing to wear a seatbelt, which resulted in a total fine of $309.
Nothing he can't pay. Right?
I mean, he made that
Now the
$309
department
back
doesn't get sued.
in social
yeah,
engagement.
literally for
So,
stepping on the field. Yeah.
yeah, his salary this year is almost $20 million. And then, of course, he scored an 80-yard touchdown pass a couple hours later. So.
Watch him get arrested before every home game.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
He's like, I have to. It's part of the it's part of the tradition at this point. Gosh. Okay. Well.
Oh yeah,
Are we,
yeah. Well,
are we good? Are we settled?
I'm sorry. I was reading the transcript of the conversation. He didn't help himself out any, but oh well.
No,
is
he
what
didn't.
it
He
is.
was really he wasn't. All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our week 1 recap. We went through every single game, gave our little opinions, gave our please draft this person, please do not draft this person. And we're going to be back next week to do it again after week 2. So that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you're following along on all of our social medias, and please sign up on the website. All of our social medias are just at Fantasy Turf War on Instagram, X, LinkedIn, YouTube.
All of it.
I don't believe I'm missing one there. All literally every social media you could. Facebook, I missed that one. And then also, like Corey mentioned, you can listen to us in your car, on a commute, working out, whatever, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music.
And as of today, Spotify is now in video and audio form, so it's on both.
So you can listen to us and see our faces.
Yeah,
Awesome.
just not while you're driving. Please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that while you're driving.
I don't need
Please
a
don't.
Tyreek Hill scenario here.
Unless
yeah,
you do.
don't.
Unless you do, yeah. Unless you too want to score an 80-yard touchdown within the next few hours after that. We are up to 76 subscribers, by the way. So just saying, we got one.
Sweet.
Awesome. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, Civics video. If you guys haven't watched it yet, it's pretty funny. Well, Lauren, your uncle's in there, so you should watch that one.
yeah, I know. I'm going to.
He did not do so hot.
I know. He told me, he goes, yeah, it was really easy. Like, just like,
Yeah, okay.
But I was like, I can already feel like you didn't do good. Like, I just feel it.
Yeah,
So,
no.
they would probably did it at this, like, the beer store together and maybe had a few beers before it. So,
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that would have been funnier, but yeah, I think he got in like the 30s. Average score was a 33. It was probably somewhere in the middle. Yeah, it's funny.
15.
Yeah, and I think one of the let's not get too far into it, but like one of them was like halfway through the quiz, like they let out that they're like a history major back in college, and like they're just nailing all these questions. Like, oh, I see how it is. She's not gonna tell us that until you're already taking the damn test. So, but it was all good. It's funny.
did they get first?
Collusion.
No, they didn't.
Obviously. They didn't?
No.
That's embarrassing.
Tank is probably the
Don't call
funniest
yourself
though.
out.
Do not take
Yeah,
that
really.
person's class.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. I got Thursday's episode, Sunday's episode. So yeah, we'll be doing this next Tuesday, 8:00.
Yes.
Yep, we'll be back same time.
Woo!
If you want to go ahead, Matt, plug your things.
Yeah, you can find
Your
me
show. Your show, to be clear, that's she's talking about your show. Don't plug anything else.
Okay.
Corey,
Wow.
literally.
Well, you can, just
Oh,
not
okay.
on the show.
I just.
Oh my god.
All right.
right.
Please
Anyway.
tell us what social medias you have and do not have.
That's what you meant.
I'm dead. All right. Locked On Fantasy Baseball. You can find me there on Twitter, YouTube, or wherever you may podcast. You can find me on Matthew_on on X, Twitter, whatever that's called, or on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Corey.
I am at Corey Bassett NC on Twitter, X, and Fantasy Turf War everywhere else is the easiest way to get a hold of me. Lauren.
Awesome. And I'm Lauren. And you can find me basically any social media, Instagram, X, whatever. Just Lauren Elizabeth Hill. That's my dog because my family just came back right when I was ending this. But yeah, that's all. And be excellent to each other, be kind, and until next time, keep moving forward. See ya.
See ya.
Peace.